Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a universal struggle that, let's be honest, pretty much every single one of us deals with on a daily basis. You know that feeling when you promise yourself, okay, I'm gonna sit down and read a book tonight, but then suddenly you realize you've just spent an hour staring at your phone. Or you swear you're gonna hit the gym, but somehow you end up melting into the couch instead. It's super frustrating, and we constantly beat ourselves up over it. But today, we're unpacking some truly groundbreaking insights from James Clear's Atomic Habits that will completely flip the way you look at your daily routines. We're going to see how a simple 20 seconds, yes, just 20 seconds, can be an absolute game changer for your personal growth.
So why is it that we can endlessly scroll through our feeds, yet we struggle so incredibly hard just to study or get our actual work done? When you really think about it, checking your phone, grabbing a bag of junk food, binge watching a show, these actions happen completely on autopilot. They require literally zero physical or mental effort to start. But studying for a test, going to the gym, sitting down to write, those require a massive initial investment of energy. We look at this dynamic and usually conclude, actually, scratch that, we just flat out blame ourselves for having zero willpower. But that is exactly where we're getting it wrong.
You see, it all comes down to what's known as the law of least effort. When given a choice between two options, human nature is incredibly simple. Your brain will naturally, instinctually choose the option that requires the absolute least amount of effort. Giving in to an easy distraction, that's not a moral failure, guys. It doesn't mean you're a weak person. It's simply your brain's biological hardwiring working exactly as intended. It's like a battery saver mode. Your brain is designed to conserve energy at all costs. So the secret here isn't to fight your human nature, it's to hack this brain laziness and actually use it to your advantage. All right, so here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The law of least effort. 2. Removing friction. 3. The 20-second rule. And 4. Priming your environment. Okay, let's jump right into part 1, the law of least effort. Because we know how the brain operates, we really don't have to be victims of our own laziness. We can actively manipulate our natural tendencies. Picture a giant scale in your head. On one side, we have frictionless autopilot, stuff like checking phones, eating junk food, watching TV. On the flip side, we've got energy-draining activities, studying, going to the gym, writing. Think of friction as the number of steps or the amount of resistance between you and the action you want to take. Your brain is constantly weighing these two sides, and it will always default to the side of the scale with zero friction. If the TV remote is right there in your hand and your running shoes are buried at the back of a dark closet, your brain does the math instantly. TV wins. Zero friction wins. Which brings us to part 2, removing friction for good habits. Here is a crucial point we all need to realize. Every habit is really just an obstacle standing in the way of what you actually want. You gotta be honest with yourself here. You don't inherently want to do the grueling work of working out. You just want to be fit. You don't inherently want to study for hours on end. You just want the high grades. The habit itself is simply a necessary hurdle you have to jump to get your desired result. So to make those good habits stick permanently, your job is to make that hurdle as small and effortless to step over as humanly possible. Let's look at a practical example. Say your goal is to go jogging every morning. You don't just wake up and hope you magically have the willpower to dig around for your clothes in the dark. No way. Instead, you follow these steps. Step 1. Lay out your workout clothes and shoes right beside your bed the night before. Step 2. You wake up. Step 3. You get dressed with absolutely zero friction. By making this good habit the path of least resistance, your brain just completes the action naturally. You don't need to summon a mountain of willpower. You just step into your shoes and go. You've engineered a scenario where doing the right thing is literally the easiest thing to do. All right, let's flip the script. Part 3, the 20-second rule. So if removing friction makes good habits incredibly easy, we want to do the exact polar opposite for our bad habits. We are going to make them incredibly annoying to perform. I want you to burn this number into your memory. 20. The famous author Sean Achor discovered this brilliant psychological phenomenon known as the 20-second rule. He found that adding a mere 20 seconds of delay to a bad habit is usually more than enough to permanently stop your brain from executing it. Just 20 seconds. It sounds almost too simple to be true, right? But when we apply the law of least effort, it makes perfect biological sense. We just need to introduce a tiny bit of friction to totally derail the brain's autopilot mechanism. Let's look at how we actually engineer this high friction in our daily lives. Here are a few highly effective methods.
If you spend way too much time mindlessly scrolling, just log out of your social media accounts after every single session. Or take it a step further and delete the distracting apps entirely on weekdays. If your weakness is watching too much TV, force yourself to physically unplug the television from the wall after every single use. Better yet, take the batteries out of the remote control and go store them in a completely different room. Now, when you mindlessly flop onto the couch to watch TV, you click the remote and nothing happens. That 20-second extra effort completely breaks the automatic loop. Think about it. When you click that remote and the TV doesn't turn on, you now have to get up, walk to another room, dig around for the batteries, put them in the remote, walk back, and turn it on. In that tiny 20-second window of delay, your rational brain gets just enough time to wake up, step in, and say, wait a minute, I don't actually need to do this right now. I was supposed to be reading. Boom, you've disrupted the frictionless autopilot. You haven't increased your willpower at all. You've just made the bad habit incredibly inconvenient. Moving on to our final step, part 4, priming your environment. High performers, the people who consistently hit their goals, they don't just react to their day as it comes at them. They actively set up their space in advance so that good decisions become inevitable. Look at the difference between a reactive state and a primed state. If you leave junk food visible right at the front of the cabinet, well, of course you're going to grab it when you're tired. But in a primed environment, you wash and slice fresh fruit, put it directly at eye level in the fridge, and you completely hide the junk food in the very back of the highest cabinet. You've removed friction for the healthy choice and added 20 seconds of friction for the bad choice. Same goes for work. A reactive worker sits down to a cluttered computer desktop full of distractions. A primed worker clears their desktop completely before they go to sleep, leaving only the one writing document they need to work on open. When you reset a room for its next specific use, you completely eliminate the mental friction of getting started. Let's wrap this all up. Engineer your success. We've covered a lot of ground today, and it really all funnels into one core philosophy for your personal growth. Stop blaming your willpower and start engineering an environment where doing the right thing is easy and doing the wrong thing is hard. That is your ultimate takeaway. Willpower is a finite resource. It's like a battery that depletes when you're tired, stressed, or hungry. But a well-designed environment, that works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Environment design will beat sheer willpower every single time. By mastering your environment, you're finally working with your brain's natural tendencies instead of fighting an exhausting, losing battle against them. So, I want to leave you with a very direct question. What bad habit are you adding 20 seconds of friction to today? Is it moving your phone charger to the literal other side of the bedroom? Is it taking the batteries out of the TV remote? Find that one stubborn bad habit, engineer just 20 seconds of annoyance into it, and watch how quickly that automatic loop breaks. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found this breakdown incredibly valuable. Start engineering your environment, and I'll catch you next time.